So check it out. We're gonna talk about some training advice. So when it comes to the fitness world, on social media nowadays, there's a lot of science-based stuff. There's a lot of people that talk against the science-based stuff. And what you guys gotta understand is that working out doesn't gotta be so complicated. You come in the gym, you lift the weight with proper form, and you just do the same workouts, you know? Obviously with due time, you'll start implementing new workouts. You'll learn as you go. But in the beginning, you gotta keep it very simple. Honest training is boring. It's the same thing every single day. When I come to my workouts, I'll train arms, it's the same arm workouts. When I do chest, it's the same chest workouts. So it's very boring, but it's effective. So you guys, make sure you keep your training simple and don't overcomplicate it. Go intense, go with a plan, go with a purpose, and make sure you're killing it. When you leave that workout, you should feel tired and you should have some sweat on. Check it out. So when it comes to fitness, it's very important to have a plan because you can't just do one thing. Let's say, for example, you start going to the gym and that's all you focus on. The gym takes 1 hour, but what are you doing the 23 hours the rest of your day? How are you eating? So if you don't have a plan in the gym and at home, you're not gonna see no changes. And most people, they give up. Most people, they fail because they start going to the gym, they kill workouts, but then every Friday, you see them eating tacos, you see them eating pizza, you see them drinking beer, and they look the same. And then that's why they quit. They never see no results. It's very important that if you don't have a plan, if you don't know your macros, if you're not hitting your protein, if you're not watching your carbs for whatever diet it is that you're training, you're gonna look exactly the same. A lot of people here in the same gym, they'll look the same for a long time because they're not taking the steps outside of the gym to look better. At the end of the day, it's all about the nutrition. So if you don't have a plan and put those two things together, you will fail. So a big part of fitness and changing your body is the macros. Macros is taking over. So your macros is your total amount of calories, protein, carbs, and fat. So without your macros and knowing how to hit your proper intake for each macro, you're going to fail. You're not gonna have no results. So it's important to lock in on your macros, follow a calorie deficit, hit your protein, and then on top of it, you could get a good supplement stack. So CondemnedLabz has very, very many different variety of supplement stacks, especially for nutrition. They have the Humusculin product that it's like a digestive enzyme. So when you eat a lot of carbs, it helps you utilize the carbs, and instead of storing them as fat, it stores it as energy. So there's a lot of products out there that if you could hit your macros and you could get the right supplement products from a company like CondemnedLabz, your results are gonna take it to the next level 100%. So meal prepping is very important because if you're not prepared, you're going to fail. That's like going to work and having no tools. How are you gonna get the job done without the proper tools? So when it comes to meal prepping, all you gotta do is, cook a bunch of ground beef, chicken, turkey, whatever you personally like, store it in the fridge, and anytime you're ready to eat a meal, bam, you're ready to go. All you gotta do is take it out, warm it up, and you're done. It's very important. And also drinking enough water. You gotta be hydrated. So you should be drinking anywhere, depending on your body and depending on what your goals are, from 1 gallon to 2 gallons a day. That depends on your results. If you're taking creatine, you definitely gotta make sure that you're hydrated. A lot of people, they take creatine, they think it's magical, but you're not drinking enough water. So you need water in order to take certain supplements. So I recommend 1.5 gallons to 2 a day, depending on your goals and your results. Sleep is a very important factor when it comes to seeing results. So quick story, when I did a bodybuilding show, I was working the night shift. When I sent my check-ins to my coach, my body looked off, my weight was off, I was like 4 pounds different. And then he asked me, how many hours did you sleep? And I was like, man, I slept like 2 hours. He told me straight up, go back to sleep, weigh yourself again, and send me those check-in pictures. So I slept for another about 4 to 5 hours. So I got a total of about 7 hours of sleep, and my weight was literally different. My body and my pictures from the first picture to the picture after literally look different. So sleep is a very important factor on building muscle, on getting that recovery, because without sleep, you're not gonna recover. That's when you build the most muscle, is during your sleep. So if you're not sleeping and you're just killing yourself in the gym, not seeing results, you gotta tap in with that sleep. Without it, you're gonna find your body not looking the way that you want, for sure. So when it comes to cheat meals do have to be earned and they have to be utilized the right way. So just because you lose 5 pounds the first week of your program does not mean that you're going to get a cheat meal. You gotta put in a couple months, 2 months, we gotta lose some weight, and then we can utilize a cheat meal. But remember, it's a cheat meal, it's not a cheat day. Too many people, they get it confused. They think that a cheat day is eat everything. In all reality, it's a cheat meal. You use that one meal, trick your metabolism, and that there is gonna actually benefit our body. But if you're just doing cheat meals every other week and every other day, you're gonna find yourself in a hole. So the cheat meals on my programs are minimized, but they do come and they do occur. My advice to someone that wants to start coaching is make sure that you're coachable. So my first advice is you got to get coached first, because if you've never been coached, how are you going to know how to approach somebody? How are you going to know how to get someone else results when you've never got the results yourself? So tip number 1, get coached yourself. 2, make sure you have the results, because if you don't have results, that means you haven't worked on yourself enough to really be able to help somebody else. It's all about experience. You got to put in the time. If you go into a union job, you can't expect to get paid as a journeyman when you've only worked a month. You know, it takes years to build up that experience. And then once you have the experience, you can start implementing coaching, helping other people out. So that right there, you got to make sure you have the experience 100%. Fitness has helped my relationship in many of ways. So the way that I found my person, I found my lady, was actually in the gym. It was around the time where I started going all in on myself. I started eating right. I put in some work for a few years. And then with all due timing, I feel like when you put yourself in the position to be blessed, that's when you get your blessings. So being in tune with fitness, being in shape, it led me to my lady, and boom, from there, that's something that we bond over. What you guys gotta understand, a lot of people think just because you're in a relationship that you can't eat healthy together, that you can't really work out together, it's gonna take too much time away from you and your kids or whatever. But in all reality, why wouldn't you want your partner to feel amazing about themselves? Don't you want your partner to look good, to feel confident, and to actually like what you see in the mirror? One thing that would crush me is to see my partner looking in the mirror and hating what they see. So being in tune with fitness, being in shape, that right there has helped our relationship plenty of ways, because I feel good about my life, I feel good about my results, and she feels good about hers. So when you got two people that are confident, they feel good, man, from there your relationship is gonna be great. If you have kids, you gotta make sure that you feel good and you show the right example. So when you're working out, showing discipline in the kitchen, discipline in the gym, your kids, your siblings, your family, whoever it is you got under you, it's gonna inspire them and it's gonna lead them the right way. You don't wanna be drinking and showing them all the bad habits, because guess what? Now you're gonna give them that negative habit. So you gotta implement the right decisions so that way your significant other, your kids, your siblings, they can catch on too and they can feel good about themselves.